Hello and welcome. You're watching the news on News Central TV. I'm Kofi Bartels. Let's start with the headlines. Nigerian Northern senators to meet President Tinubu over alleged 3 trillion naira budget padding. Unspecified number of students allegedly abducted in Sangaya, Sokoto State. Rwanda's ruling party picks Paul Kagame as presidential candidate. We have details of these headlines and other stories ahead on the news. Let's begin News Central now. For our viewers across Africa and the rest of the world, you're welcome. I'm Kofi Bartels. Our coverage tonight begins in West Africa. Nigerian Northern Senators Forum has vowed to meet with the President, Bola Tinubu, over an alleged 3 trillion naira padding. It is covered in the 2024 budget. The chairman of the forum, Senator Abdul Niyi, representing PDP Bauchi Central, disclosed this during an interview. Niyi said the forum has commissioned consultants to thoroughly scrutinize the budget to reveal how 3 trillion naira was surreptitiously added to the amount passed by lawmakers. Well, to discuss this, we're joined by political analyst Francis Chilaka. Mr. Chilaka, good evening to you. Thank you so very kindly for your time. Let's begin by asking you to please analyze or tell us what the potential impact of this alleged budget padding, approximately 4 trillion naira worth of projects, an allegation made by the Northern Senators Forum, is, particularly in terms of the fiscal responsibility and equitable distribution of resources. What's your take on this?
Well, to start with, I must say that if it is true, if it is confirmed that the budget has been padded, it shows a high level of insensitivity of those we have elected as senators, to man the resources of this country. But that aside, it simply shows that a lot is going on. The padding of budget didn't start with this administration, and I don't think it's going to end with this administration. So long as we have people who do not have conscience, who do not believe in what I'll call being patriotic as Nigerians. At a time when the country is going through a lot of economic uncertainty, it is the height of irresponsibility for anyone to begin to pad a budget that we don't even have the necessary funds with which to execute the budget, even if it is not padded. So it is the height of insensitivity, it is the height of cluelessness, and it is the height of what I would call, high-level indiscipline and corruption in the system.
What insights can you provide regarding the claim that the incentive projects lack specific locations in the budget?
Well, that's where we're waiting for the Northern Senators to come forward. Those who have identified it, they should be able to provide Nigerians with detailed information as to what was surreptitiously added into the project. No one can actually say this is what has been added, but they should be in a better position. So we're all waiting to see how the allegation pans out. And I hope it's not just going to be one of those stories we hear, we read through the newspapers, and at the end of the day, nothing is done. I believe that as we are today, Nigerians have become very conscious of what leadership is. And each time stories like this come up, Nigerians want to get to the end of it. We're all waiting to see what is added and to which region or to which state it has been added for.
Let's move on to some other questions. In the context of these accusations of a lopsided budget against the North and certain parts of the South, this is getting to some very shaky territory here. How would you assess the potential regional disparities and its implication for national development and unity?
I would say that the Northern Senators need to understand that to build a nation, we all must forget where we come from. We should forget our tribe. We should forget our region. We should be talking about Nigeria. If they take that pattern of saying that, it is more like, favoring one sector or one section of the economy of the country to the other, I would not be a party to supporting that. But if they come out and tell us that the budget is padded and whatever has been padded was not part of the original plan, then it is easier for us. But if you take that angle from which they are coming now, there's a lot of tribalism, ethnicity that is going to play out. And it's not going to help, the cause of what is on ground. So I think that the senators should be able to think Nigeria first before the region they come from. We've gotten past that level where we'll be talking about, it favors the South, it favors the West, it favors the East, and doesn't favor the North. When we had the last administration, we knew that budgets were padded, we were told that budget was padded, but nobody went this low to begin to talk about city and the region that is favored and is not favored.
Where you're saying they should think about national unity, sir, are you suggesting the Northern senators should keep quiet if they notice irregularities in the national budget?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that it is good they point it out, but let us not go that low to begin to look at it as a regional thing or a tribalistic thing and so on. This is what is holding this country down. People talk about their region before the Nigerian state. We should be talking about Nigeria before the region or wherever we come from. So for me, yes, it is good that they're raising an alarm. 2, it is good that we know what has been added into the budget that shouldn't have been added. But 3, we should not go in that angle of saying it favors the West or it favors the East and does not favor the North. That is where I totally disagree with them.
The senators are describing this budget as the most fraudulent in the history of Nigeria. I don't know if you agree with that. But how do you see this affecting, governance and legislative process in particular?
Well, we all know that when this budget was passed, a lot of questions were raised. A lot of senators objected to the way and manner the budget was passed. They said that the Senate president was being very high-headed in passing the budget without allowing everybody to contribute into it. Now, what will play out, if that is the truth, is that we will have a rubber-stamped Senate that will do only the bidding of the executive. And this is not good for governance at all. It does not allow the division of power. There should be the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary. So these 3 must checkmate each other. But if we have a situation where, a budget, like a national budget, is passed in a hurry without being properly scrutinized, then it means that, this administration is not ready to work for the Nigerian people, but rather to work for individuals.
All right. Thank you so very kindly for your time tonight, Francis Chilaka.
Thank you.
Away from that, Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu will on Monday launch an agro-processing zone and an airport in Minna, the capital of Niger State. Governor Mohammed Bago made this known in Minna when the national leadership of the Nigerian Union of Journalists bestowed on him the title of Grand Patron of the Niger State Council of the Union. Bago said with the airport at 99% completion, the state is now positioned to play a major role in the North Central's aero hub. He said about 1,000 hectares of land was ready for use, saying there will be drip irrigation for greenhouses, expected to be the biggest in Africa. Bago explained that a special agro-processing zone in the airport will have fresh vegetables and fruit being moved around Nigeria and outside the country. Nigeria's federal government has inaugurated the Committee for the Implementation of Recommendations on the Review of Reports and White Papers on Restructuring and Rationalization of Federal Government Parastatals and Agencies, as well as commissions. The Secretary of the State Government of the Federation, while inaugurating the committee in Abuja, urged the government to expedite action on the implementation, saying resolutions by the Federal Executive Council which mandated the full implementation of the Orosaye report must be done as quickly as possible. The committee comprises of 10 members, including the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the Head of Service, the Attorney General, amongst others.
A decision was taken, and it is our lot to give effect to that decision. We are expected to cross some T's and put some dots. Let's do that. Whatever we are doing should be to enhance the decision already taken by the Federal Executive Council.
The Nigerian government has asked all 36 state commissioners of education to ensure the observance of this year's Commonwealth Day in their states to allow students learn about the Commonwealth, the values being promoted, and other issues that will inspire behavioral change towards a more inclusive, equitable attitude to life. Nigeria's Minister of Education made this known in the nation's capital, Abuja, during a press conference to outline activities lined up for the annual commemoration of the Commonwealth of Nations. Now, he says this year's celebration with the theme, One Resilient Common Future, Transforming Our Commonwealth, will emphasize the need for collaboration to ensure equal access to quality education.
Transforming our Commonwealth in education requires a commitment to resilience and collaboration to ensure equal access to quality education for all. The federal government is investing in innovative teaching methods, supporting teachers, embracing technology, and promoting a culture of lifelong learning to enable the attainment and sustainability of a more equitable and prosperous future for all nationwide. In furtherance of the aforementioned theme, the ministry is imploring all the 36 states Ministry of Education and Federal Capital Territory Board to commemorate the day on the second Monday in March, which is 11th March 2024, as traditionally scheduled for the commemoration event every year.
The remains of the former Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Access Bank, Herbert Wigwe, his wife, Chizoba, and their son, Chizi, were laid to rest on Saturday. A funeral service was held in their honor at the Lion of Judah parish of the Redeemed Christian Church of God in Isiokpo, Ikwere local government area of River State, where many dignitaries were in attendance. News Central's Niyi Omoniyi reports.
It was a week of activities to honor Herbert Wigwe, his wife Chizoba, and their son Chizi. Their death on the 9th of February in an air mishap in the United States of America sent shockwaves across the length and breadth of Nigeria. While the activities held in Lagos, where they resided before their death, the quiet community in Isiokpo, their hometown, was rudely awakened when their remains were brought back. Here, on Saturday, at the Redeemed Christian Church of God in Isiokpo, River State, the bodies, or what is left of them, were brought into the church, accompanied by the solemn hymn and different shades of emotions. Seated here are dignitaries from different walks of life, where Herbert Wigwe made impact while he sojourned here on earth. Nigeria's President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, several serving and former state governors, top banking executives, captains of industries, all gathered for one person. Special tributes were made through songs and scriptural readings. The sermon dwelt on highlighting that life can only be weighed on the scale of how impactful it was.
Life is not about duration, but donation. What impact have you made? Today we can see a whole community stood still for one man. I don't think if it's a president that died, it would have been more than what we are seeing here today.
Governor of River State, amongst others, pledged to support the big dream of Herbert Wigwe and ensure it is actualized even in his memory.
The bank might have a new identity, a new boss to run it. Other ventures also have their names. But one thing that has its name is the Wigwe University. We will do everything within our power to make sure dream.
Those remaining in the Wigwe family say they are prepared to persevere Herbert Wigwe's legacy through excellence and embracing the high standards and values he exemplified. The final prayer was said, and thereafter, the caskets left the church for onward movement to the site of a private interment. The tears may have dried on the faces of many, but what is certain is that the memory of what Herbert Wigwe stood for and the manner in which the man, his wife, and his first son were called back to eternity will remain for a long time to come. In Rivers for News Central, Niyi Omoniyi.
Meanwhile, the managing director and editor-in-chief of News Central Television, Kayode Akintemi, has extended the sympathy of management and staff of the leading broadcast station in Africa to Pa Shyngle Wigwe, father of the late foremost banker and philanthropist. He commiserated with the aged father shortly after the funeral service earlier on Saturday, as Pa Shyngle was full of appreciation. May the souls rest in peace. Now to security matters. Bandits have struck again, kidnapping an undisclosed number of students from a school in Sangaya in Gidan Bakuso Gada, a local government area of Sokoto State. This latest incident is coming less than 48 hours after the abduction of 280 pupils and teachers in Kaduna State. The exact count of kidnapped students is not known at this time, but the school's proprietor, Liman Abubakar, reported 15 missing, with ongoing efforts to locate more. According to Abubakar, the recent banditry in the area is not unprecedented. Kabiru Dauda, a State House of Assembly member, confirmed the attack and assured that authorities were addressing the situation. In a related development or incident, the bandits killed 3 individuals in Isa local government area, possibly in retaliation for a recent security operation. Let's also tell you that the Kaduna State government has denied engaging a private negotiator to facilitate the release of the 287 kidnapped pupils of Leah Primary School and the students of Government Secondary School Kuriga in Chikun local government area of the state who were kidnapped on Thursday. Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Mohammed Shehu, described the reports as false and mischievous, urging the media to be cautious in the way they publicize security stories in order not to jeopardize efforts of the government and security agencies in degrading criminal elements laying siege in communities across the state. In the meantime, Vice President of Nigeria, Kashim Shettima, and Governor of Kaduna State, Uba Sani, have met with parents and relatives of the abducted students of Leah Primary School and the Government Secondary School in Kuriga, Chikun local government area of Kaduna State. A meeting took place at Sir Kashim Ibrahim Government House in Kaduna. While addressing the Kuriga community leaders and relatives of the victims, Shettima assured them that the federal government, led by President Bola Tinubu, is determined to ensure that all the abducted children are rescued safely. He added that the president has instructed security agencies to leave no stone unturned until all the children are rescued, while urging the media to be circumspect in the reportage of the incident. In northern Nigeria, we stay in northern Nigeria, where the Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf has sworn in a new caretaker chairman for the 44 local government areas of the state. The inaugurated local government interim management committee is to serve for 3 months only. The decision follows the approval of the House of Assembly's Committee on Local Government Affairs. Governor Yusuf told the interim committee chairman that their performance will determine whether their tenure will be renewed or not. He reminded the chairman that the administration has zero tolerance for unruly behavior, warning them against bossy style of leadership. Still talking governance, this time in eastern Nigeria, local government is generally known as the third tier of government, which is closest to the people at the grassroots. News Central's correspondent, Austin Azu, who is in Delta State, south part of the country, examines the impacts of local government chairmen and councillors as their 3-year tenure ends.
On the 8th of March 2021, these former local government chairmen were sworn in by the former governor of Delta State, Isiokpo, in Asaba. They thereafter inaugurated their various councillors in their respective local government areas. 3 years after, what impacts have the council chairmen and councillors made?
They've not tried anything at all. We have not seen any improvement in their performance.
If now council they doing, I don't want to be council work safe. I know the council they do anything. I never know what they actually they do because they see someone they go pushing motor, someone they go home motor, say receipts. I don't actually know what they do, so I know know their work. That's just the truth.
Because I can say they were unable to call this DV. So in that aspect, they really did not do well in that aspect.
The 25 council chairmen are here at the Government House Asaba for their validatory session with Governor Sheriff Oborewori.
I believe in separation of power. As a lawmaker, as a presiding officer of the House of Assembly for 6 years, I'm in support of financial autonomy to local governments.
And the governor, in a political stakeholders meeting in Asaba, assured residents of the state that the local government election will be held soon.
I assure you that very soon we'll do election. The date will be announced. It will not be too long. Just want to put you on the note that let the world continue to bubble. Let our LGA continue to get stronger.
In the meantime, 25 local government areas across the state are being headed by the head of personnel management of the councils, pending the conduct of local government election.
An advice they plea that the way they cooperated with Ikemba, they should still extend such cooperation to me, and that I promise by God's grace, I will try to follow the footsteps of Ikemba, because as you can see, he did very well. And I would like to do likewise too.
Attention has shifted to the Delta State Independent Electoral Commission to unveil the timetable for the conduct of the local government election in the state. In Asaba for News Central, I'm Austin Azu.
Thanks, Austin. You're watching News Central now. We have more stories ahead. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. And now to more stories. Nigeria's pro-democracy group, the Impact Development Initiative, has called for an audit of the results obtained in the Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi off-cycle elections, which it says were characterized by widespread irregularities ranging from missing ballots, overvoting, miscalculation of votes, and others. The initiative made this known during a public presentation of its final report on the integrity of the polls, saying it is its study of the entire process and the results uploaded on INEC's result viewing portal reveals that there is a need to audit those announced by the body.
2023 off-cycle governorship elections in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi states have come and gone, with winners already declared and sworn into office. While aggrieved political parties and candidates have gone ahead to challenge the results declared by Nigeria's Independent National Electoral Commission, pro-democracy group, the Impact Development Initiative, says its recent study of the integrity of the polls reveals widespread discrepancies in results uploaded on the INEC result viewing portal.
Overvoting is when total vote cast is greater than accredited voter, and this is exactly what we saw. So we saw in Imo 26,000 difference in terms of 26,000. And you can see Imo is just wide gap. I don't know what really. And that was why we said we also look at observers' report.
The report revealed that, contrary to expectations, only 10,168 results were uploaded on the INEC viewing portal, leaving about 303 still missing, casting doubt on the integrity of the polls.
When you have over 1,000 polling units that have questionable question mark, then it can, even if you have like about 4,000 polling units, you can only say, oh, it's 1,000 polling units. But the truth of the matter is that 1,000 polling units matters a lot because election is about numbers. So you remove one from somebody, it may not be declared as somebody that had the majority of the vote cast. So,
however, the Assistant Director of Electoral Operations of Nigeria's Independent National Electoral Commission criticized the report, saying it was inaccurate as it considered only results on the IREF viewing portal without thoroughly scrutinizing the entire process.
The researchers had no access to a back-end integrity process, such as the accreditation of the data, such as the use of beavers at the very first level of collation. And so when you remove this integrity check mechanism from the whole of this study, a lot is left to be concluded with this study.
The Impact Development Initiative is also calling on the electoral body to review its result forms, saying that the same handwriting were observed on multiple forms, thus needing a thorough review of the result collation process. In Abuja for News Central, I am Idonk Joseph.
Nigeria's National Drug Law Enforcement Agency says that it arrested 13,664 drug traffickers in 2023, with about 3,412 convicted for illicit drug trafficking. Chairman of the agency made this known during an inter-ministerial committee meeting on drug control, which held in Abuja, saying that the agency has been repositioned to tackle Nigeria's drug challenge headlong. He also expressed optimism that the ongoing amendment of the NDLEA Act will give the agency more bite in its fight against drug trafficking. With more, here's Niyi.
Nigeria is regarded as a drug transit country where traffickers traffic illicit drugs to the US, Asia, and Europe. However, in recent times, with several drug busts by the nation's agency against illicit drug trafficking, stakeholders say the NDLEA has performed commendably well in the last 12 months.
The achievements of all of you over these past years in enhancing drug law enforcement, in improving and increasing accessibility to treatment, in rolling out prevention to hopefully the young generation in great numbers, and now most recently starting to look into issues of harm reduction and of issues of alternative development. I think these are all really milestones.
After taking stock of key programs implemented across the strategic pillars in 2022 and 2023, I can say that we have recorded significant progress on the fourth national plan, that is the NDCMP 2021 to 2025.
As Nigeria's Interministerial Committee on Drug Control met in Abuja, the chairman of the agency says that tremendous gains have been recorded in the last 1 year, with the agency making thousands of arrests.
Our operations and offensive action last year alone has led to the arrest of 13,664 drug traffickers, of whom 3,412 have been convicted.
While also adding that about 1,600 tons of illicit drugs was seized, including the destruction of about 206.5 hectares of cannabis, he expressed optimism that the ongoing amendment of the NDLEA Act will add vigor to the war against illicit drugs.
So far, the House of Reps has cleared it. That amendment of the Act will give the NDLEA more bite.
Despite these successes, the NDLEA says it continues to face funding challenges. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
You're watching News Central now. Coming up, thousands march in peace or for peace. Democratic Republic of Congo. We have details after the break. Join us again. Welcome back. We head to East Africa, where Rwanda's ruling party on Saturday picked President Paul Kagame as its candidate for the July election, setting up a battle that is most likely to see the seasoned leader return to government for a fourth 7-year term. The 66-year-old has ruled over the landlocked African nation with an iron fist for decades and won the presidency in elections in 2003, 2010, and 2017 with more than 90% of the vote. The party says Kagame's candidacy was unopposed during the Rwandan Patriotic Front Congress that ended Saturday. Rwanda will hold presidential and parliamentary polls on July 15 after the government decided last year to synchronize the dates for the votes. In Central Africa, thousands of Congolese women dressed in black marched in the Democratic Republic of Congo to mourn those killed in conflicts in the east of the country. Women from all walks of life gathered in Bukavu, the capital of South Kivu province, in the east, which has been ravaged by decades of armed violence. According to Beatrice Kinja Mwendanga, the Minister of Health and Humanitarian Affairs in South Kivu, the biggest victim of all is the woman.
À l'est de notre pays, chez nous, nous qui sommes à l'est, surtout ceux qui sont au nord Kivu, il y a la guerre et nous sommes agressés par les ennemis de la paix. Voilà que la plus victime de tout ça, c'est la femme qui est violée, qui est violentée. C'est les atrocités que le pays est en train, que nos compatriotes sont en train de subir. Nous nous sommes sentis redevables de compatir avec eux. C'est de cette manière que nous sommes dit que nous pouvons compatir avec nos compatriotes qui sont au nord Kivu.
Nous sommes ici pour condamner le silence coupable de la communauté internationale.
We turn our attention to the escalating tensions in the Middle East and in Gaza, where conflict has been raging for months now. Earlier in the week, the United States proposed a bold move to construct an aid border route to allow much-needed humanitarian aid into Gaza. At least 500,000 people, more than a quarter of the population, are on the brink of famine. This is according to the United Nations. Meanwhile, back in Israel, the deadly war on the Gaza Strip has plunged the country's tourism and business industry into a new crisis, with tourist inflows drastically reduced. Charles Mongani Ziziba is in Israel, and we cross over now to her to give us updates and an insight into the situation there. Mongani, can you hear us? Good evening to you.
Good evening, Kofi. Good evening to our viewers.
Yes, tell us, what exactly is the situation in Israel as we speak?
Yeah, Israel is a very calm country, especially for a country that is at war. I arrived here on Sunday, and people are going on with their businesses, no fear or intimidation around Tel Aviv and also Jerusalem and also Bethlehem, where I've been. So for someone to say that there is war in Israel, it's very difficult because there is no sign of anything. I've been speaking to citizens around here and they don't know what bombs are. They've never heard of bombs, no missiles, nothing, especially in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. But to the north, they say that that's where the war is. But basically, you can't tell that there is war in Israel. Citizens are going about their businesses as usual.
Have you been to the streets? Have you had an opportunity to speak with the citizens about the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas? What are the sentiments in Israel right now from Israelis and non-Israelis alike? Yeah, Mungana, if you can hear me, what do Israelis think of the ongoing war, especially as it regards the actions of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu? What are their thoughts on the ongoing war and its impact on their country?
Yes, I had an opportunity just to go around and speak to citizens. Many of them are saying that the way that the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel is handling the conflict, they are not in support of it. I remember yesterday I spoke to one man who sells on the street, and he spoke at length about this war. He was even saying that if elections are to be done today here in Israel, many people will vote Benjamin Netanyahu out because they are not happy about what is happening in Gaza. So many citizens here are not happy about the situation that is happening in Gaza rather. But there are those also that are saying there is no way that Israel wouldn't have responded to what the Hamas did. So the country is divided, but many people, citizens here, are saying that what is happening is in Gaza. They believe that the Prime Minister should have acted better because many of them are seeing pictures that are coming from Gaza where children, women are dying every day, and the bombings in Gaza, they are unending. So citizens are very divided in this country, but also they are not happy about how the security is here, especially today I was in Bethlehem where it's about 100 kilometers where we went to, but the security gates, or rather the checkpoints that we had to go through, many of them and Palestinian people are not allowed to come into Israel, and also some Israelites are not also allowed to go to the Palestinian side, especially the West Bank. So the security that is happening, that is there in with these border gates, many of them are not happy about them. And also there is a wall that they call the separation wall. That is a big concrete wall that is built in West Bank that separates West Bank and also Israel. Many citizens that we spoke to say that that wall has has not served the purpose because Israel put up that wall, or rather built that wall. For them, they say it's a political defense from the Palestinian. But the Palestinians are saying the barrier, it's a barrier for them, especially for their generations of the children or their children. They don't know their neighbors, or rather they cannot speak to their neighbors. So for them, it's more like it's a barrier for Israelites and also the Palestinians. So many of them don't like these borders, especially that separation wall. But also in Bethlehem, Israelites are not allowed to go to the Palestinian side, and also the other way around, the Palestinians are not also allowed to go the other side. So when you have to go there, they are given these permits, and they have colors, with the Palestinian having the green ones and the Israelites having the red ones. So it's quite a tense situation, especially when they have to cross to the other side.
Mugari, thank you so very kindly for the good work, and talk to you soon. Well, up next is the day's business news.
The Accra West region of the Electricity Company of Ghana Limited has initiated a project to replace over 450,000 meters in its operational areas. The 5-month exercise aims to replace postpaid, non-smart prepaid and 40 meters with MMS complete smart prepaid meters. The initiative, part of the loss reduction program, involves installing smart meters to enhance energy accounting and meet service connection requests. The General Manager, Emmanuel Akine, assured customers of the convenience of smart prepaid meters, emphasizing that the replacement exercise is free and customers should not make any payments. The Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture in collaboration with key stakeholders, declared a temporary postponement of the recently enacted expatriate employment levy policy. Introduced by the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, the policy aims to impose taxes on foreign workers to encourage the hiring of qualified local employees. The decision to pause the implementation was reached after a successful trade and investment outreach led by President Bola Tinubu in Qatar. A joint committee, including representatives from the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, the Ministry of Interior, and other stakeholders, will be formed to review the EEL policy. The move comes amid concerns that the policy could deter foreign investment and impact economic efficiency. In a recent assessment, Moody's Ratings has upgraded the deposit ratings of 7 major South African banks, demonstrating their resilience in capital, funding and profitability. The banks under review, Standard Bank, Absa, First Rand, Nedbank, Investec, African Bank and Bidvest, received a notable 2-notch increase in their long-term deposit ratings. Additionally, the senior unsecured program ratings of the 4 largest banks experienced a 1-notch upgrade. The positive shift follows Moody's application of the Advanced Loss Given Failure analysis, which gauges the potential impact of a bank's failure on various debt classes and deposits. Despite challenges and some asset quality pressures, the banks maintain a stable outlook, reflecting Moody's belief that their existing liability structures will remain relatively unchanged in the next 12 to 18 months. Japan has extended a grant of 2,389 million yen or $17.4 million to Zimbabwe for the completion of a crucial 7.8-kilometer road segment connecting Makutu and Marongora Phase 2 in the North-South Corridor, as reported by the Herald. The initial phase, a 6.5-kilometer stretch from Marangora to Hell's Gate, was inaugurated by President Emerson Mnangagwa in 2021, with both phases funded by Japan through the Japan International Cooperation Agency. The recent signing of the exchange of notes and grant agreement document by Finance Minister Monthuli Nkube, Japan Ambassador to Zimbabwe Shinichi Yamanak, and JICA Chief Representative Shigek Furutu marks another milestone in the collaboration. The project aims to enhance road safety in the region, addressing hazardous conditions such as sharp curves and steep slopes, ultimately reducing traffic accidents. And that's all on business.
Now turn our attention to our sports desk for the latest in the world of sports.
And in sports, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, and the Nigeria Premier Football League have agreed to partner on the conduct of drug tests for footballers in the country as part of efforts to curb the menace of substance abuse in Nigeria. This was one of the high points of discussions between the leadership of the agency and the Football League when the chairman of the NPFL board, Gbenga Elegbeleye, led the delegation, including ex-international Daniel Amokachi and club chairman, on a courtesy visit to the chairman chief executive officer of the NDLEA in Abuja. Elegbeleye said part of the problems facing the sports industry in the country, especially football, is betting and the use of performance enhancement drugs by football players. He said he has to reach out to the agency for partnership to salvage the situation. Nairobi City County Government has finally opened the 276 million shilling Dandora Stadium to the public after delays and controversy that slowed down the completion of construction works in the stadium for the past 6 years. The 4,000-seating capacity stadium, whose construction started in 2018, was officially opened by Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja. The stadium features a perimeter wall and a play pitch equipped with an artificial turf with football field fixtures and utility rooms constructed to international standards. There are also floodlights and a stormwater drainage, as well as graffiti on a section of the stadium. Sakaja said the new stadium will go a long way in improving the sports talent within the county and provide a new opportunity for the youth to grow their talent. The county governor also proposes the renaming of the stadium to former Embakasi Mugabe Stadium. The Tripoli International Stadium is back in action after 2 years of closure due to maintenance work, with a program that includes a major celebration during an exhibition match bringing together the stars of the Italian team from Milan Football Club and the stars of Libya and Africa. Arab and African stars participated in the celebration, including the Egyptian trio Essam El Hadri, Mohamed Zidane, and Wael Goma, the Tunisians Zubair Bey and Hatem Trabelsi, the Algerian Rafik Saifi, the Togolese Emmanuel Adebayo, the Senegalese El Hadji Diouf, and the superstar JJ Okocha.
وبالنسبه للملعب يعني واخيرا في بلادنا في ملعب يعني نتشرفوا به ويتشرفوا به العالم من برا، وان شاء الله يعني العالم اليوم يتفرج علينا ونكونوا يعني بوجهه يعني يشوفونا العالم ان احنا عندنا ملاعب حلوه وعندنا جمهور منظم. احنا جايين اليوم لملعب استاد ليبيا، اليوم مباراه طبعا نجوم ليبيا ونجوم ميلان، اللاعبين القدامى ونجومنا يعني الاولين، وما شاء الله يعني الحق يعني ان شاء الله يعني تكون مباراه حلوه، تكون افتتاحيه جميله ان شاء الله.
يعني بعد معاناه الشعب الليبي والظروف اللي مرت بها ليبيا، اليوم نحتفلوا ان شاء الله بانشاء ملعب جميل ورائع، وكل الليبيين فرحانين بهذا الملعب وطرابلس بالذات، وان شاء الله حنفرحوا قريب ايضا بملعب في بنغازي. مع نهايه هذه السنه حنشاهد حوالي 7 أو 8 ملاعب جاهزه للمسابقات والمباريات الدوليه والمحليه.
And that's a wrap on Sports Update. I am Udoka Njoko.
And that's all at this time. Before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Northern Nigerian senators are to meet the president, Bola Tinubu, over what they allege to be 3 trillion naira padded budget. Unspecified number of students allegedly abducted in Sangaya in Sokoto State. We also told you that Rwanda's ruling party has picked Paul Kagame as its presidential candidate. Send your eyewitness reports to us with a WhatsApp number or email address showing on your screen. Also follow us on social media where we're at News Central TV. Watch us live on these channels or platforms. Many thanks for watching the news tonight. I'm Kofi Bartels. Have a great weekend.